Many Guyanese are upset at Majah Hype for his comments.
Curry chicken or chicken curry?
It's definitely curry chicken.
Oh, okay. Oh my
The
God.
only person that you're gonna hear say that is Guyanese people.
Exactly.
And they not Caribbean.
What? Why are Guyanese Caribbean?
Because it's in South America.
It's not. Yeah.
We show them love. We accepted them, but they're not Caribbean.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Because the cultures are very similar, so
Very similar, but that's like the only English-speaking country on the continent.
Geographic-wise, they're not Caribbean. Yeah.
So you want to argue with me for something
why the
that
fuck they on the
is in
parade?
the Caribbean? No, then. It's not chicken causing.
So these people are of a special pedigree, my brother.
No, I won't personally attack him because although his comments had an arrogant tone, I think it was mostly a case of ignorance, which could be because he wasn't born in the Caribbean and he didn't benefit from Caribbean education. Regardless, the reason I'm doing this video is to address the commenters, hundreds, possibly thousands, many of them Caribbean, who seem to be grossly uninformed about their own region. I'm the Unspecialist, and it's time for an overdue Caribbean history lesson. Let's find out why Guyana is and isn't a Caribbean country at the same time. To be fair to Majah Hype and those who don't know better, the first thing that people think when they mention the Caribbean is island, automatically excluding continental countries like Belize, Suriname, and Guyana. They also tend to think geographically, which would refer to countries that are touched by the Caribbean Sea. That definition includes most of Central America, several South American countries, and excludes some islands like Bermuda, the Bahamas, and Barbados, all of which are located in the Atlantic Ocean. The geographical definition is tricky because culturally, English-speaking territories in the region, the former British colonies, are often categorized separately from the Spanish-speaking majority, as well as the French and Dutch territories in the region. This is where history and politics fills the gap. Historically, all these territories share a colonial past. For the English-speaking Caribbean, their struggle for independence links their political history. Which brings me to CARICOM, one of the biggest reasons why Guyana is considered a Caribbean country, although Majah Hype seems to disagree with that.
Y'all talking about CARICOM like it's like that's the headquarters for the Caribbean. What are y'all talking about?
What does that mean?
Like, I think y'all just really just jump on Instagram, hear something, and regurgitate what people say. That's what y'all do. Y'all just sit here and regurgitate what y'all hear, and y'all think y'all educated because of what you heard.
When does crack, now, so the cocaine's happening, when does that crack come into play for you?
I'm not your professor, your mother, your father, your teacher. I'm not none of those people. So guess what? I did my research and know what CARICOM is.
Good.
CARICOM is an abbreviation of the Caribbean Community, which the four founding members are Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, and Guyana, the latter two not fitting the geographical definition of the Caribbean, both existing outside of the Caribbean Sea. All the information I just gave you comes standard in the social studies curriculum for the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate exams, better known as CSEC, which is administered by the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC. Now take a wild guess at which country consistently tops the Caribbean in exams administered by CXC. Guyana. Now I wonder why a non-Caribbean country would be part of the Caribbean Examinations Council and consistently top the region. Some people didn't pay attention in high school, and it shows. Now that we've got that basic education out of the way, let's address the real reason why many Guyanese are upset with Majah Hype. He was arrogant.
A journalist from Guyana reached out to me and said, let's have a sit-down interview conversation. If I didn't give a shit, I'd have said no. I say, yes, let's fix it, because I don't want people to feel like I'm disrespecting Guyana, because I've been representing for Guyana for 10 years now.
You see, ignorance is forgivable. It's just a lack of knowledge, which is easily resolved by doing the research, finding the correct information, admitting fault, and then moving on. Unfortunately, Majah Hype did the exact opposite. He was very arrogant, dismissive, and deflected. And all of this was on full display on Jumpstart with Gordon Moseley and Renata Bailey.
And the big question out there is, whether Majah Hype himself is Caribbean, whether he has an understanding of the Caribbean culture that he takes part in and makes fun of and showcases.
Well, I don't think I would be so in depth in the culture if I wasn't a part of it. So, yeah, that's a question that answers itself.
No, but you were born in New York.
Who told you that?
Well, based on your passport records and so, you were born in the U.S. So that's not something that's being hidden.
So I mean, we could talk about that all day long about documents that's not really there and all of that other stuff. We could talk about that all day long.
Yeah. So your takeaway from all of this.
But that's not the premise of the conversation and why we're here. We're not here for that.
No, but it's a part of that because, it's like, someone trying to get in the club when they can't get in, as the song says, when you're out of the club.
Well, comedically, I am the club. So, I mean, I don't know how I'm getting in the club when I am the club. Nobody represents the Caribbean like I do.
You think so?
Nobody has, of course. Nobody has done it like I've done it. And
no, but you name when you say nobody represents the Caribbean like you do, are you comparing yourself to the Marshall Montanos of the Caribbean, the Bujabantons of the Caribbean? Or you talk about representing the Caribbean? Oh, comedically.
Yeah, that was the word.
But there's Oliver. There's Oliver in Jamaica who's represented the Caribbean for years.
Okay, does he represent Guyana? Does he talk about Guyana and incorporate Guyana into his material?
He has over the years. In many of it, it's his skits and
so.
Doing it now? But he's older now, so he's not as active as he was before.
Exactly, that's my point. I'm the one that's doing it now.
No, but you're saying representing, but you're in fact using the culture to sell yourself.
Yes.
So it's not really you're representing.
I know in the beginning of the interview you said you were Caribbean. May I ask what country in the Caribbean you were born in that makes you align with the Caribbean?
As I said, I'm not here for that. That's not the premise of this conversation. The premise of the conversation is to show my genuine apology to the people that was offended.
Yeah, many of our listeners are tuning in right now.
And I'm sure I've been to Guyana many times, and I've been interviewed many times, and I've been asked that question many times. And the reason why I didn't answer the question is because I believe in the unification, which I've been doing ever since I started doing comedy.
Yeah, but you say that, Majah Hype, and then you try to do the separation. And I saw a journalist, I saw a journalist from Belize, I think it was, who said she too was offended because Belize is on the mainland of Central America. And so they would be offended when they pick and choose. And, I think people are saying that while you're saying now it was a joke, when they look at that conversation and they look at the entire interview, there was no separation.
Well, there's a lot of people that's going to try to capitalize off the situation. So even people that have nothing to do with it, they're gonna do what they got to do for likes or to get involved or to be, I mean, being a person that travels around the world and represents the Caribbean culture comedically, it's a space that a lot of people want to have. So I mean, at the end of the day, people gonna say and do whatever they want to do for their own benefit. So be careful of that as well.
And many of our listeners are still saying, and watching some of the comments on our Facebook page right now, and they're still saying they don't think you're being genuine with your apology, that you're just trying to save face because you have a large following that are Guyanese, and you may be trying to save face. How do you respond to that?
Gordon was right to call him out for the fake apology.
Like I said, I would not be up at 8 o'clock here. I got in the house at 6 o'clock this morning to get an hour and a half sleep to get myself ready to do this. It speaks for itself.
And so you want the folks to accept that apology?
I mean, whether they apologize, whether they accept it or not, I'm issuing it. So, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
And whole time Renata looking mostly upset and highly confused at this man's arrogance. Up to quite recently, still engaging in social media skirmishes with popular Guyanese social media personalities like Melly Mel. I think how he's handling this situation just shows the type of person that he is. Of course, irate people are going to say things that are out of pocket, but that's part of being a public figure. People are going to say things that are really messed up, whether you're doing good or bad. They're going to be haters regardless. But in this case, I think the hate is very much justified. Now, of course, I don't encourage anyone to do anything extreme, illegal, make threats online, etc. However, the general dissatisfaction and ire that you see among Guyanese is very much justified in this case. After watching those clips, it's quite clear to me that with many Guyanese, if not most Guyanese, Majah Hype's goose is cooked. However, his comments did start an important discussion. There were many people in the comments claiming that Guyana doesn't have artists and they have to borrow, accusing them of being foreign-minded. And there is some truth to that. Many Guyanese do have a tendency to prefer foreign over local. Although quality is often a challenge with some local productions, there are many great local artists with great music and many others with great potential who can break through. Guyanese should throw their support behind these good local artists because as people, you choose your representatives. And the last time I checked, no Guyanese, selected Majah Hype to represent them anywhere. What are your thoughts about this Majah Hype situation? Do you think he was joking as he claimed? Or was he being arrogant and disrespectful to Guyanese people? Be sure to share the video if you found it informative and entertaining even. If you haven't already, be sure to like and follow the page. I'm not the only contributor and there's lots more content in store. Don't be afraid to leave suggestions for topics that we can cover in the future. Thanks for watching.
Them can't segregate we from the hills to the coast to the seas. We are one Westin, one Caribbean, say one West Indies. Them can't segregate we from the hills to the coast to the seas.